Hey there everybody, in this video we're going to talk about the full-time RV lifestyle and is it good for running a business? What are the things that I've found since leaving a sticks and bricks house where I had my own dedicated office and my own dedicated high-speed internet and all of the luxuries of living at home and working and running a business. I'll tell you how it is running a business while in that thing right there. Let's get into today's video. My name is Brandon Brashears and this is Business Built for Life, a channel where we're dedicated to helping you get to your dreams of living a full-time travel lifestyle. And in this video, let's talk about what is it really like to work in the RV. So a few things that I think that I was really worried about. Number one, I was worried about internet. Internet is a huge issue and worrying, am I going to have it? Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? I actually did a full video on some of the tips that I use to make sure that your internet is good. And so if you click up here, you can check out that video. But internet has been definitely a big stress, but it really hasn't been that big of a problem. The biggest thing that I found is finding wireless carriers, having a different range of wireless carriers to choose from. So we have Verizon, we have T-Mobile. If we were in other parts of the country, we probably would add AT&T to that mix. Just because having a consistent internet connection is extremely important to us. But that being said, we haven't had any major issues, and we've been in really remote places like a spot called Riggins, Idaho, which is in the middle of nowhere in a long valley. You have to go down a one-way road. It was super sketchy drive, pulling the RV on it, but we didn't have any connection problem with internet, and so that was fantastic. So that is one thing that I was really worried about, and it hasn't proven to be a problem. I think one of the things that works really good is when we would go to find new spots, we would be sure to call ahead and say, hey, do we have internet here? What's the Wi-Fi like? What is the cell service like? And so getting that stuff from the camp hosts have been really helpful. And then the next thing that I think has been really helpful too is we had an extender and we got it. We got the I'll put a link to the one that we got. It works really good. It was $700, which was kind of expensive, but having that, especially as like an insurance plan against, anything that could come. It was the Wii Boost is what it was. I can't remember the name of it. The Wii Boost. But having that as something that we could use if we needed to was really helpful. So internet was, I think, the main problem. The second thing that I was worried about is on traveling days, how will we handle that? And am I going to be able to get any work done at all? And the thing that I found that worked really good was when we would do travel days, I would just block those off on my calendar. I use tools like Calendly and I use Google Calendar and all these other things to really help to automate all of my follow-up process. And I do digital marketing for a living, and so I help people with ads and things like that. And so I have a lot of follow-up calls with clients to talk about goals, to talk about results and things like that. So I was concerned that if I was traveling all the time, would I be able to actually service the clients and meet with them on a regular basis and things like that. So I know that during the week I have a few days where I have consistent calls with corporate clients and things like that, and those are not negotiable for travel days. So I have to block those off. But when we are traveling, we'll just use travel days as kind of like a day off. And there was a few times where we had, like in the middle of the week, we'd go from like Tuesday, we'd drive to another spot hundreds of miles away. And so I would just have to plan on not working on those days and switching the schedule around, making sure that I had blocked out the calendar appropriately. So that was really important. And I think too that doing trial runs with before we actually went full-time, and we did a bunch of trial runs, and it was very helpful in getting kind of a rhythm down and understanding how things were going to work out. So travel days, most of the time when we do travel days now, it's on the weekends, which is great because then we don't have to necessarily worry about calls or schedules and things like that. During the summer months, it was difficult. It was definitely difficult because sometimes on the weekends, that's when it's busiest in the parks and it was hard to find spots. And so we would have to do midweek travel. But if we had our schedule out far enough, I could block those days off to make sure that we didn't have clients scheduling calls on those days. So that was another thing that I don't think was actually too bad at all. It was just getting it figured out and implementing it. And then the third thing I think that probably a lot of people are concerned about, and I was definitely concerned about it, was am I going to be able to get work done with 3 kids inside a 400 square foot workspace? And there's definitely a lot of distractions. But what I find is, and it might be considered rude, but I just put on over-ear headphones and I sit and I work and I put on music or podcast or something and I just tune everything out and I just get done. I think having a workspace that is around everybody, I'm not able to procrastinate if I'm working. It's obvious that I'm working because I'm doing something, and if I'm trying to get done so that we can go out and have fun around here, it helps me to be a lot more productive. And so I think that was something that I was just really worried about. Would I be able to get anything done? Would I just feel completely guilty because we're in an awesome place and I want to get out and do things, and my family's sitting inside the rig. What are we going to do? So it hasn't been a problem, and especially with homeschooling, there's just so much to do all the time here for my kids, and they love playing inside the rig. They love their Legos and all the stuff that they have. So it's been really, really good, and I'm actually a lot more productive because I'm trying to set myself up to get done quickly and get done efficiently so that I can then go out and do things like go for runs or hang out with family, go hiking, go fishing, go to new places, drive to new spots. And so it's been really, really helpful. And then I think the fourth thing that I was worried about was, what if, what are my clients going to think about this? What are people going to think about my business? Are they going to think that I'm unreliable? Are they going to think that I'm, I had a ton of concerns in my mind about what people would think about this lifestyle. And the truth is that nobody really cares at all. So they all say, wow, that looks so much fun. They see my Instagram and they see all the pictures of my family. They see us spending time together. And it's not a problem at all. Especially with the pandemic, people expect that you're going to be working remotely from things. And so it really doesn't matter at all. I think that, I have quiet spots that I can work in the truck if I need to do calls in the truck. I have the spot that I typically work at is actually right here. And so if people are on a Zoom call with me, they'll say, hey, how's it going? Where are you today? And then I'll show them the background of the river and the mountains and stuff. And so it's actually a good little piece to talk about. And so it's been really, really good. I think overall I had a lot of fears because I just didn't know what was going to happen. And I think that in most people's mind, you just kind of go to the worst case scenario, right? And you start to think, all this bad stuff's going to happen. My business is going to crumble. We're going to end up homeless, or like we're not going to be able to pay the bills, or your brain goes to weird spots. Think about all of those major fears. I think one thing that I do is I list out all the major fears, and then I think about what are the possibilities of that actually happening. And it's usually really, really low possibilities. Like the worst case scenario is usually not that bad. And then beyond that, it's not even likely to happen. It's not even remotely likely to happen. So what I found is that actually I've brought on a ton of new clients since leaving. I have so much more mental space freed up because I'm not constantly worried about being in the rat race and grinding to get the huge rent payments and all of the monthly expenses that we had. And it's just really weird. It seems like I'm freed up to do so much more. I have so much more time for spending time with my family, doing stuff. It's just really, really positive. And so we love it. It was so scary before we left, and you probably will hear this from a lot of full-time people. It was so scary before we left, but once we left, we're not quite sure what we were scared of. So hope this was helpful. The last thing that I will say is that if you don't have the discipline to do the work, I think that it would actually be pretty hard. And what I mean by that is there's just so much fun stuff to do outside. There's so many cool places to go. And so if you don't have the discipline to say like, okay, I have to work today from this time to this time, I'm gonna get everything done, you would be able to procrastinate for sure very easily. So I've definitely had a long experience of being my own boss and having to get work done, and having clients that pay me and pay me consistently on retainer basis. It forces me to work. And so knowing that if I'm on the hook because I'm getting paid, I have to do the work and I have to do good work. So that's just something that works for me too. I just wanted to mention that as well. I would love to know, what is your business? How do you make money full-time? Comment down below. I would love to hear how you do this, what your thoughts are, and what were the biggest things that you were worried about. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to this video, hit that like button. We'll see you on the next video. Have a good day, everybody.